Boy, the upper end of that thing just looks like monster buck bed heaven. I know he's in there. I just jumped a real good deer and just barely even got a glimpse of antlers on him. I don't know what he was, but he looked like a pretty decent buck. Well, I tried my best to get in here clean. I bumped deer going in. I got up my stand. I thought, well, there'll be more deer coming through. I'm on a pinch point behind this marsh, swamp, whatever you want to call this thing. It's like a lake right here. This makes a lake. Upper end of it ain't nothing but cattails and switchgrass and just pure bed habitat. Behind me is a much smaller marsh where I jumped all the deer up this morning coming in. And I'm in my tree stand and the urge to go to the bathroom hit me. I said, I gotta come down out of this stand. I can't hold it no longer. And literally, while I'm using the bathroom, as soon as I got through, I stood up and here come a doe. Come trotting right by me. I don't know if she was being chased by a buck or not, because she spotted me and started blowing like crazy, so that pretty much screwed that up. Boy, I just can't seem to win for losing. Sooner or later, this big old joker's gonna screw up and let me put an arrow through him. Well, it's getting into the month of December. I've been hunting this buck the whole month of October and November. I've seen this joker multiple times, and I have yet to get him on video. Either it's been too early in the morning during gray light with no video light, or it's been right at dark, or it's been too thick to get video footage of him. Or maybe he snuck in on me and I just didn't have the camera turned on in time. Long story short, I'm in here trying to figure out where this joker's at. I've been hunting around the area multiple times. I've about got him pinpointed down to where I think he's bedded in this marsh. There's a point that sticks out, and I just decided I'm going to bust in here and find out if he's actually bedding here or not, because unless I know for sure that he's bedding here, I could get eyes on him, jump him out of this area. I don't know for sure. Well, long story short, I've covered every inch of this little point going out into this marsh, and there's not a single deer bed on it nowhere. So he stomped me again. Where I think he's been the whole time, he's obviously not here. That's how they get big, guys. They get big by keeping you guessing. Where he thinks he's safe and where he knows he's safe is obviously not the areas that I think he should bed. If I were a big buck, I swear I would bed right here. You can cover every inch. There's no way you can sneak in here on top of this buck. He's got multiple escape routes, got everything going for him. Good morning. Today's December 17th. I snuck in here really quiet. Got out of my stand. Good 45 minutes to an hour before daylight. I'm right at 75 yards from a known deer bed. I think one buck's bedding. I'm about 50 yards from a scrape. I'm sitting on the trail that these bucks use going into that bed area. I ain't seen nothing. It's 11 o'clock. Nothing's come by. It's been super quiet. Gonna go back, regroup here in a little while, figure out what I want to do for the afternoon hunt. Okay. Looking at this spot, you would think, Don Cicero, you're pretty crazy for setting up in wide open hardwoods. You can see for 200 yards down through there. What this is a deep ravine, wide open timber, and it comes up to a head right here. And I am literally right on the edge of where all this timber starts to get thick. Right here behind me is a major scrape. About 100 yards that direction is a pine thicket. Might not even be 100 yards. And I'm kind of surrounded like a bowl of pine thickets behind me. It goes all the way around me. I'm facing north, but the wind's coming out of the southeast. I expect the deer come out of that pine thicket, run right through the trashy side of this hardwood. There's a log road right here, an old faint log road. I expect them to walk that thing. If they want to check that scrape or work that scrape, they'll be right there on it. Right here, right at dark, all these deer, when they go across this wide open hardwoods, they're going toward a clear cut. They don't walk up on them ridges to the left and right. They drop off in that drainage, and they run that drainage, or the side of that hill in that drainage, down to the clear cut. That's where they feeding at night. It's green fields, stuff like that around there. But what's really got me here is the top of that ridge right there. That thing is super, super trashy. And I know for a fact that 100 yards on the other side of this hump is a major doe bed area that's just as trashy as this. That buck that I'm after, I honestly believe he beds right there in that mess. Now, I'm about 65 yards from the edge of that stuff. If he comes out of that stuff there, which I hope he does, he'll have the wind quartering to him, but I'll have the wind quartering to him as well. And it's going to be real tricky if that draw right there don't screw me up. But the good thing is, it's wide open timber for 65 yards from that draw to that thick edge. So I think he'll stay in that thick edge at least until he gets up here. Now he may do one of two things. He may come across and turn left and go to the pine thicket that's to the left, which there's a good trail going that direction. Or he could go right behind my tree and go basically to the right and go into that pine thicket. Or he could stage up right here where I'm at, waiting on all the other deer to come in, which is exactly what I expect him to do. That's what I hope he's going to do anyway. I'm going to try to call into him here in about an hour. Let everything settle down. I'm here real early, and I'm going to start calling early. Wish me luck. Yeah, he waited till pitch dark and decided to move. All I could do was listen to him. Well, today's December 18th. I'm on the edge of a pine thicket, which is pretty open woods actually. A little bit of hardwoods mixed in it. If you can look up on top of that hill up there, that's the bed area. I'm probably about 75 yards from the bed area. There's a major bed area on top of that hill. A lot of does bed in that hill. Some of the bucks, this is a big wide bench right here, and some of the bucks will go up that finger ridge way down on the end down there. I don't know how much y'all can tell in this video, but right there is a swag in the side of this ridge, just an indention. And some of the deer are going up and down that indention because this ridge is really steep on this side. And right here it starts into a cliff, and it's a cliff all the way around behind me. Right here in this cliff is a bluff gap, and on both sides all the way around through there it's anywhere from 50 to 75 yard drop, or 50 to 75 yard feet drop, 100 foot on the end out there. And a lot of the deer want to come up that gap right there because that's the easiest actually walking. You can walk all the way up to that gap, and it's only like a 30 foot incline, 40 foot maybe. Real easy walking. I just had 5 does down in that bottom running around. Something spooked them. They were heading this way, but something spooked them. They ran back up the hill on the other side, so you can see forever in a day down here. Bucks are starting to cruise and check on does, so I'm hoping a buck will come up this bluff gap, walk dead under my tree where the main trail is, and head up to that bed area behind me and check on them does, which right now are down in the bottom of the holler running around. I don't know if it's a coyote or a buck's chasing them, or I can't see a buck. All I see is does. I was going to get them on camera, but I was busy looking at them with the binos, trying to see if any of them were bucks. I didn't get the camera up. Anyway, we're going to sit here as long as I can stand to sit. They caught my wind and I didn't get it on film. I'm going for broke this morning. I work my way in here right amongst where I know all the deer are at. I got a bed, a big buck bed. I hope it's a buck bed. It's a big bed, almost within view of where I'm at. I'm sitting on the downwind side of a hot trail that I've seen multiple bucks in years past travel, checking on these does that bed on the finger ridges. I'm in between 2 major doe bed areas. Hopefully it'll work out this morning for me. I know there's a big one in here. Well, this little buck obviously ain't the big one I'm looking for, but he is coming in there, sniffing around, checking things out, which is a good sign. It means that there's something going on in this area. Maybe I'll be in the hot seat today. Who knows? It's always fun to watch these deer anyway, regardless. I get excited every time I hear them footsteps. You just never know when big boy's coming through. I just had a doe run past me with her tail tucked. I did a couple of grunts, and then that little buck come running up there to me. I guess he's hoping for some action. I'm hoping that doe's in heat, and he's just too dumb to find her. I'm gonna sit on the ground. Last 20 minutes I've been scouting like crazy, just trying to find a place to hunt. And I can hear deer. I can't tell if they're coming my way or not, but I'm just gonna sit tight. People talk about thermal hubs. Well, if you're looking at this area, you've got a ridge over there, 600 yards. Another ridge way out yonder, a mile away. Another ridge there, a quarter mile away. And then this ridge I'm sitting on here. And then I'll drop down into a big valley. Now, a thermal hub like this, you can't hunt it. You gotta pick one or the other. So I got a south wind. I'm on the downwind side of this bed area. Right there, you can actually see this trail cut into the edge of this ridge down to mud. Big tracks. So I'm picking one ridge. You can't hunt down in that bottom and expect a deer to travel in a valley that's 600 yards wide, and you gotta try to figure out which trail he's gonna walk. Bow hunting, you pick a ridge. And that's what I do when their thermal hubs are over a half mile in diameter. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, I've sat here 3 times and I've yet to see a deer. I've got some huge rubs on the end of that ridge out through there. Very nice rubs. The rub line is going to the end of that ridge, which made me think that the buck might be bedding out on the end of that ridge. But the more I think about it, I think I'm in the wrong spot. This trail right here is beat down. I think they must be using this trail at night. So I'm gonna backtrack this thing, the rub line, and see where the bed is. Maybe I can find him. Boy, talk about pushing your luck. I think I'm in his bed area. He's got every tree in here pretty much whooped. That's a good rub right there. Well, I'm in here. Let me see if I can find him. Well, it's another day and I'm doing more scouting, and I've bumped into this monster buck again that I had an encounter with back in November. Seems like we keep bumping into each other. I'm just gonna see if I can't wait him out. I'm standing on the ground. He's working his way out. He's gonna cross this log road. Maybe I could get a better view of him. Boy, they sure are a hard spot in that thick stuff. You have to look for the flicker of an ear, flicker of a tail, just movement. You have to train your eyes to see through the trees, through the brush, to be able to pick up on those subtle objects, flick of that tail, a leg, anything like that. When you're hunting thick brush like I do, you better be alert all the time. Here he comes, fixing to poke his head out. You guys will recognize this monster from November, hopefully. What a giant. You can see them horns from here. You're like, hadn't I seen you before? Doggone, what are you doing? Following me around? Get lost, boy. Well, I guess I'll get lost then if you ain't going to. I love this stuff. Even the little ones. You guys actually thought I was serious when I said I jumped a monster. Gotcha. Man, I'm going to tell you one thing. Hunting the rut in Alabama in December, I swear it must be 85, 90 degrees out here. I am sweating bullets. I walked up on a little spike this morning. Seen a doe, couldn't get her on video. Seen a really nice rack buck, couldn't get him on video. He was following the doe. I sat and I listened to him bed down. He hacked and coughed and did something sounded like a horse. And they got up and he grunted and chased her around in the brush a little bit. And they never would come back out of the brush. They eventually got on up the hill and far enough away for me to come down out of my stand. I got a doe. She looks like she's either coming in heat or is in heat. The doe come through first. I grunted at her and she looked my way and then threw her tail straight up in the air and went on in the thicket. And maybe 10 minutes later, here come the buck right on the trail. I may have stopped him from following her when I grunted. He may have wanted to investigate. Anyway, I grunted him a couple of times and he looked my way. I'm looking at him with the binos. I ain't even got the camera turned on. It's so thick in there. He wasn't going to commit to coming my way. You could tell he was after that doe. But pretty exciting morning. They did come pretty close to the edge of the thicket where I was at. If they'd have come out on that trail, I'd have had a 15-yard shot at them. If they'd just cut the corner of that thicket and come out any of them trails, I probably had 6 trails I could cover with a bow.